Stand by. The program will begin soon.
When I see an American flag, I immediately look at that I'm like, that person's probably a bigot. That person's probably a homophobe. That person's probably a racist if they're just flying American flags out everywhere.
Hold up.
Hey, this sounds more like a you problem. You should probably go see somebody about that.
He got over $5 million per year from the American taxpayers, being given no bid contracts from Maine Governor Janet Mills, and is building a military in Somalia. He has been funneling money back to Somalia to build a military in Somalia. The guy is running a migrant services agency that builds Maine Care, which is what we call Medicaid, about $5 million a year. Oh no, those illegal immigrants are getting any Medicare. And then he said he raised money in the U.S. to buy weapons, munitions, and supplies for a paramilitary force he had hoped to lead as the president of Jubaland. Yes, that's a real state in Somalia. And to be clear, in Somalia, he's running to be the warlord of Jubaland. Elections in Jubaland aren't exactly like elections in America. It's whoever has the most guns is able to certify the election. So he needed to buy a paramilitary organization and paramilitary support in order to win the election. Avocado Diablo asked if you could bring any one comic strip character to life and train them to be a hitman, who would you choose? That's the easiest question ever. Calvin. Calvin. Oh, look, Stop Double Nation, you and I are on the same page. Calvin. From Calvin and Hobbes. Yes. And by God, Calvin would be the greatest hitman to ever live. Better than John Wick. I guarantee it. I didn't have to think of it. Stand by. The program will begin soon.
Yes, it's true. The Obama administration deported over 3 million people. And the Biden administration, over 4 million people. But they didn't need troops. They didn't need military in the streets to do it. Tell me why. Put it in the chat. Tell me why you think that's that.
Because when Obama and Biden were in office, there were no riots in the streets of Los Angeles, even though 80% of the deportations were also expedited with no hearing. But you didn't give a shit then. Now that Trump's in office, you suddenly give a shit. Hope that helps.
That turkey was amazing. Mostly because I cooked it, because I'm really good at cooking turkey. So one of my tricks new tricks that I do, you know how when you cook a turkey in a pan, even if you got one of those raised pans, it always happens. You cook this turkey and the breast of the turkey get all nice, the top gets all nice and brown, and then you go to cut the underside and the thighs and legs are like all white underneath and not even done. Well, there's a trick you can do to avoid that. What you do is you cook the bird upside down for at least 1/3 of the cooking time. So you end up browning the bottom and sealing that first, even more so. And the other thing I do is I start my oven at 500 degrees. The first 45 minutes to an hour, you put it at 500 degrees, and then you turn it down to 325 and do the rest of the cooking. But anyway, do it upside down, and 1/3 of the way through, then you flip the bird back over in the pan, and the entire bird gets finished at the same time. So apparently, in Europe, you can refer to Americans as pigs. but not convicted rapists. The German court gives woman harsher punishment than convicted. I hate it when people say rapist. I'll just say unwanted sexual activity peoples for calling him a disgraceful pig. She called someone convicted of that crime a disgraceful pig and got a harsher punishment than the person who actually committed unwanted sexual activity. And so that's why people were posting that story about the German court gives women harsher punishment than convicted unwanted sexual activity.
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
There's a story about this man, too. He led the attack on Pearl Harbor, but died a Christian missionary on December 7, 1941. Captain Mitsuo Fuchida flew the lead plane against Pearl Harbor, shouting the famous code, Tora, Tora, Tora. He hated America. But after the war, he met a former American POW, Jacob DeSager, who had returned to Japan not to punish him, but to preach the gospel. Shocked by this forgiveness, Fuchida bought a Bible and converted to Christianity in 1950. The man who started the Pacific War spent the rest of his life touring the U.S. and Japan preaching. Quote, I was a follower of the sword. Now I'm a follower of the cross. Nearly 5 years after pipe bombs were discovered outside the headquarters of the Democratic National Committee and the Republican National Committee in Washington, D.C., a suspect has been arrested in the case. On Thursday, federal agents arrested Brian Cole Jr., 30 of Woodbridge, Virginia, and he was charged with transportation of explosive devices, blah, 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 blah. But on Friday, legacy media outlets began reporting that Cole, this young black man right here, was a Trump supporter. And I'm not saying he's not because he's black. I'm just saying there's other evidence that might support the fact that he's not a Trump supporter. But we'll get to that. Quote, Brian Cole worked for a bail bonds company run by his father that worked to free illegal immigrants from ICE facilities and sued the Trump administration's Department of Homeland Security. He worked for his dad. They tried to free illegal immigrants. Interesting. Yes, I know every Trump supporter, every black supporter, Trump supporter, would be quick to hire Benjamin Crump, who represented the family of Trayvon Martin, attempting to sic the Biden administration Department of Justice on a local Tennessee prosecutor who had raised concerns about the bail bond company. We'll find out eventually that this guy had wanted nothing.
Additionally, if you open this up to ice fishing, while on the surface it sounds good, then what happens next year? Does someone come back and say, I want an ice shanty on Hudson Springs Park for X amount of time? And if you then allow ice fishing with shanties, then that leads to another problem. Prostitution. And now you've got the police chief and the police department involved. Just data points to consider.
It is Happy Bill of Rights Day on December 15, 1791. The Commonwealth of Virginia ratified the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments to the U.S. Constitution. George Mason and James Madison were the driving forces behind these guarantees of individual rights. And note that all the individual rights that are in the Bill of Rights are not rights granted by the government. Those are the inalienable rights which the government shall not infringe. And if you notice, it's interesting because the Bill of Rights is all about what the government cannot do, not what the government can do. And I think kind of got away from that a little bit, where some people seem to think that the government is going to grant you rights. No, these are rights you have, whether there's a government or not, and the rights that the government must protect for you. So it was a unique thing when it came about in 1791. that government is not there to grant you or give you privileges, but rather to protect the rights that you have.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only PDawgKnight.
Hello. Welcome to the show. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet. And welcome back to the PDawgKnight Channel, where we ask the scintillating question, am I pro-ICE? I've kind of explained this before, but I'm going to explain it again today. But there's some things that aren't so right, too. I believe in their mission 100%. But now there's a lot of tactics as we're watching going down the internet that just aren't, I just don't find it kosher. And if you listen to my, if you're here for my preview, like countdown, whatever, and I'm talking about how, our U.S. Constitution is about what the government can't do, not what you're allowed, not what we're allowed to have, or not what our rights are, but how the government can't infringe on our rights. And I think there are some problems. Look, a lot of the things they're doing. I said this yesterday. I'm like, and personally, I think in some ways, the whole situation that we're having here in Minnesota, particularly in the Twin Cities, but and in other places, is kind of like, in some ways, the administration is stepping on their own penis. You know what I'm saying? Because look, there's a big issue right at the beginning of the year that we were hearing about that we're not spending time on right now, and that's the massive fraud going on in our state and also around the country with and I hate saying a lot one single immigrant group, but it seems to be that everywhere that the same scam's going on, it happens to be the same immigrant group. And in fact, not even in this country, but other countries. And I think who's talking about that now? Part of the problem, though, is our own state has exacerbated what I think is, let's just say they helped us step on our own units. So anyway, I'll get to that in a minute. First, let's say hi to everybody and get this thing going. First in the chat today is, what happened? What happened? There it is. I was like, oh, whoa, what happened? It's Kara Soldier gets the bell. If the bell will ring, there we go. There you go. Also, good morning, Avocados Diabli. Wild Wolf, what up? Skello8, aka Midnight, our young friend. Mike Savage, Blarg. Why did you guys like doubled up? Oh, I see. You keep saying hi to each other. That's why, why do I have 4 of her in the row, 4 of him in the row? Anyway, JB's in the house. Jay Blizza, of course. Good morning, also to Blue-Eyed Scream, Tall Person, Renee Mayette, and Alan Tyler, nice to see you here. My favorite Canadian, Jaeger Ponies in the house. Green Badger Outdoors. Spud Gun, holy smokes. Wow, how about you? When your country's GDP is 45% remittance, it's pretty obvious that they're a bunch of scammers. Yeah, it's quite the thing, and we're kind of lost that. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. And Lord Stanhope's in the house. Let's go. So let's get into it, because there's a lot of news, and then I want to get to that. Also, Don Lemon, who's the dude that calls him the greasy-lipped bitch? What's the dude's name? Jericho Green. Every time he says that, I start laughing. Anyway, let's see. I said hi to everybody here. Let's go to the notifications. Get that out of the way too. People sharing the show, greatly appreciating it. Starting with Miss Wild Wolf is the first one today. There you are, Miss Wild Wolf. I'm just drawing it out just to know, so you'll know that I actually mentioned this. All right, there you go. Also, tall person, thank you for sharing the stream. Appreciate it. We're reposting that. And our young friend Midnight with the Let's Go. Love it. Also, Mike Savage with the Let's Go. Love it. Also, Green Badger Outdoors with a Let's Go. And some revolutionary looking motherfuckers right there. We had Say You Want a Revolution. Well, you know. And Mike Savage with the Let Us Go, because you got to do it both. And what's this? Oh, Renee Mayette. Not only sharing the stream, but giving us a dude, come out, slide and deal with it. You know what I'm saying. That's awesome. That's awesome. Love throwing out a gift there. Wait, what's this? What the fuck? I don't remember that picture. Oh, the wonders of AI. What kind of soup is that? It looks like pea soup. Let's go eat soup. Okay, I gotcha. I freaked out because I'm like, I don't remember taking that picture. Holy shit. Oh, AI is crazy. Then let's see. Also, thanks people retweeting Rain, Ms. Wild Wolf, JB, and Green Badger Outdoors. And a little hockey. Let's go. Yeah. Got to throw some hockey out there because I'm in Minnesota. All right. Thanks people sharing the show. Greatly appreciated. All right. Let's move down the line here. Today is Hump Day. I was gonna go na Hump Day, but that's a Batman thing. Okay, so the problem with Hump Day today, at least on X, the app formerly known as Twitter, is I really can't scroll very far. So here's our friend Charlie D'Angelo. He's a funny dude, and I haven't interacted with him in a while. I gotta find him. Good happy Wednesday. It's Hump Day, and just 2 more days till the weekend. Today I give my new cover of Duran Duran's Hungry Like the Wolf party mix. This one's going to be a favorite in Europe and hopefully all over the world. Hope you like it. Big hugs to you all. I can't play it, but I'm going to repost it because, gotta love you some Duran Duran if you're an 80s kid. Hello, Attack Alpaca, by the way. I see you coming in here. Oh, and then Johnny Boomertech dropping the Streamlabs link here. If you want to do a priority chat, if you really want to get my attention, I'm replacing the pin message. There we go. There's how you get my attention. So as far as the Hump Days thing, I'm like, okay, I can go this far. Okay, I'm there. That's fine, right? It's racy, but still, she's got her clothes on. And then this one, she has her clothes on, and that's good. But then I think the next one's she has clothes on, but she has her buttock sticking out. And then the one right after that, it's starting to show some vagina. I can't do it. So there you go. There's the Hump Day. And then I got to be careful because I don't know if the Happy Hump Day changed. Happy Hump Day is kind of the same thing, and I can only go 3 before I hit a naked person. So if you're into naked people, go ahead and those will be in the links, but I'm not going to scroll down them today. Here, I'll give you a nice, safe Hump Day post. Here you go. Happy Hump Day. The weekend is in sight. Grab your coffee and make today count, and don't leave out the O. Today's coffee is brought to you by Johnny Cash, Sun Records, Folsom Prison Blues. I forgot. This is the old Folsom Prison Blues single. On my cup here, so there you go. Hello, Maddie. So there you go, and we have our first sponsor today. Oh, did I change that one? Yeah, I changed the GIF on that one. Alan Tyler, you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you very much. Dropping a big 26 in the tip jar, which gives us the young Australian sprinter doing her little dance, and that's very cute. And also, sup, just saying sup, dog. Okay, sup to you too. So if you ever want to see that GIF again, you know what to do. Okay, Marty is a candy ass. What the hell are you talking about? Bitch, please. What are you talking about? Okay, am I missing anybody? Okay, I got everybody. All right, let's move on. Other holidays today. It is National what? National Hugging Day. Aww. I wish I need to change my my soundboard here and put some other stuff on here. I don't have any really I don't have anything that really matches hugging. Let's see. Oh, that didn't work. It's National Hugging Day. Go hug somebody. But make sure you have their permission first. Because otherwise, it could get weird. Just saying. All right. And also, wait a minute. It's National Squirrel Appreciation Day. Oh my gosh, where the hell is TC? Whoa, it's National Squirrel Appreciation Day. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. All right, we'll have to, if TC shows up, let me know. Just start typing in caps and shit so I know TC showed up, because we got to let TC know it's National Squirrel Appreciation Day. Awesome. Also, National Hug Your Puppy Day. So don't just hug somebody randomly. You can hug your puppy and take care of both National Hugging Day and National Hug Your Puppy Day. It's also International Sweatpants Day. Yeah, whatever that means. National Cheesy Socks Day. Oh, wear funky socks today. That'd be cool. National Granola Bar Day. Mariachi Day. Thank Your Mentor Day. Own Your Own Home Day. We've taken care of that. One-Liners Day. National Max Day, if your name's Max. National Conscious, for a second I thought this said couscous. National Conscious Uncoupling Day, like when you need a break. And then Our Lady of Alta Gracia, honor the patroness of the Dominican Republic, Our Lady of Alta Gracia. One-Liners Day. Let me think of a good one-liner here. I can't think off the top of my head. I gotta think of it. It'd be a dad joke or something. I don't know. Anyone got a good one-liner? Throw it in the chat and we'll read it or something. All right. So happy holidays from the Morning Night Live. All right, let's go ahead and get into some news. There's a bunch of stuff going on. Top news on X today. Michelle Tafoya, the former she was a sideline sports lady in the NFL on, I think, CBS. She's throwing her hat in the ring for the Senate from the state of Minnesota. Former NBC sideline reporter and 4-time Emmy winner filed paperwork Tuesday to run as a Republican for the open U.S. Senate seat left by retiring Senator Tina Smith in 2026. Her launch video, Tafoya vows to fight rising crime, support manufacturing and law enforcement, to cut government waste, drawing parallels to her Super Bowl coverage. A Minnesota native with deep local media roots, she enters the GOP primary against challengers like Royce White as Republicans eye a rare statewide win after over 2 decades. Yeah, we haven't had a Republican senator for 20 years. In fact, I don't think we've had no, the last Republican statewide office I think we had was the governor, was Tim Pawlenty, who lives in my town. I think he lives in my town. He used to. So anyway, let's watch Michelle Tafoya's video. But then we also have some criticism from Royce White, which I'll get to. Good morning, Miss. Now What Studios, my dear friend Wu from high school. Good morning, P-Dawg. One-liner day. Isn't that the first step for cokeheads? Oh! See, you understood the assignment. There you go. Fantastic. All right. What is with first names that start with T in Minnesota? What do you mean first names that start with T? Her last name is Tafoya, not her first name. All right. So anyway, let's watch her opening salvo in the Minnesota Senate race here. See how that goes. Okay. It's probably gonna have music that I can't have on here, but we'll see.
For years, I covered the biggest football games in America.
And that makes me qualified for the U.S. Senate. Okay, I'm just being funny. Michelle Tafoya is pretty cool, but she has. I'm confused about. I'm just confused why her first run for office would be in the Senate. That's all. All right, here we go.
I walked the sidelines when the pressure was mounting and the stakes were the highest. That job taught me about more than football.
What?
It taught me about how leadership really works. When leaders are prepared and accountable, teams succeed. When they aren't, people pay the price. When I look at Minnesota and Washington today, I see politicians selling out honest, hardworking people like you.
Now, I'm curious where she got these stock images from, or if these are just people who already support her. I hope none of these people in her ad are people out there protesting right now. I just pray that that's the case, because you just never know in Minnesota.
I see massive government fraud.
Oh, Nick Shirley made it, and so did the governor.
Exploding on Tim Walz's watch, ripping off taxpayers, and embarrassing our state. I see radical ideologies being forced into our schools and sports, putting young women and their teammates in danger. I see politicians undermining and attacking police officers, then making excuses when crime rises and communities suffer. And I see middle-class families.
I don't know if she needed to throw the dead body in there, though. The covered up dead. Do you see against that? I don't get. You can have a broken window for crime instead of a covered up dead body. Anyway.
Families paying more while working harder just to stay afloat. For too long, hardworking people have been ripped off by criminals, corporations, and career politicians. And the people doing everything right are the ones paying the biggest price. Well, I'm not going to stay on the sidelines any longer. Starting today, I'm running for the United States Senate.
I mean, I don't have a problem with her doing this. Just like I didn't have a problem with Royce White doing it, running for Senate. It's just, it's weird. Sometimes it's weird to me that someone wants to make the Senate their first elected office off of their fame. But and I'm not saying that she has, I don't even know if she probably has great ideas, and Royce White has great ideas, whatever. But it's not, in Minnesota, people are so about entrenched politicians, except for Al Franken. Never mind. We had Al Franken. Just forget what I just said. Fuck it.
As Minnesota Senator, I will clean up the system, fighting corruption, ending the fraud, and protecting your tax dollars.
I also hate this, and I don't care it doesn't matter which side they're on, right? It doesn't matter if they're Republican or Democrat and where they're running, what state they're running. Whenever someone says that they will do that themselves, it doesn't always hit right, because it's like, well, wait a minute, you got to make this shit happen in the Senate, which is fine. I hope she does. But that's always curious to me when people say that. I'm really nitpicking her, aren't I?
I will protect what's fair and safe, standing with our law enforcement officers, deporting dangerous criminals, and keeping female sports for female athletes. And I will make our lives affordable again, cutting middle-class taxes, strengthening American manufacturing, and lowering the cost of groceries, prescription drugs, and mortgages and rent.
Everybody says
I hear the same message everywhere.
Because both sides will be saying the same shit. But I just want to know how. And I'm not necessarily nitpicking her. I'm nitpicking the whole, anyone who runs for an office like this. Anyway.
Travel. Minnesotans are yearning for common sense leadership again.
True.
It's time for a political outsider and a reformer with a real plan for working families. I'll ask
She's got all the buzzwords, though, I'll tell you that.
And demand honest answers. Our campaign is bigger than right versus left. It's about competence over corruption. The pressure is mounting again, and the stakes could not be higher. Oh, she's smart to get some current events in there, though. It's time to bring our state together and look to the future with pride. If you're looking for new ideas, real results, and big change, I'm Michelle Tafoya, and I'm ready to lead.
Good point, Wu. This is a terrible ad for a Senate campaign. Her ad sounds like she's actually running for governor. That's where it's hit me. Thank you. That's exactly where it's getting to me. She has an ad for the wrong office. You know what I mean? Anyway. Now, former sports reporter, blah, blah, blah. Michelle Tafoya is running for the Senate as a Republican in Minnesota. The state desperately needs at least one sane leader. Where's the Royce White? I hope the Royce White tweet shows up here. One funny thing about this filing, though, and I don't know who made this typo here, but if you look at the Federal Election Commission FEC form, they made a mistake on here. Tafoya for Senate, and then they have 3500 Vicksburg Lane North, which is in Plymouth, Minnesota, but they have Massachusetts as the Plymouth MA, Minnesota's MN. So I'm sure some people, because she doesn't currently live here. She's from here and she's moving back here to do this. But I had a feeling some people are going to rip her for that. Here, let me just find Royce White here, because he made a post about this, which was interesting. Because he's going to have to run against her in a primary. He was the last candidate for U.S. Senate from Minnesota. Let's see, Let's go find Royce White here. Oh, hang on a second. I saw it earlier, but I must have bookmarked it. So let's get that. But I got to tell you, whether it ends up being Royce White, whether it ends up being Michelle Tafoya, I am not voting for any of the Democrats. All right, here's let's see, Tafoya. What's this? Oh, there we go. Oh, and then she's trending on X here. Let me move this over here. There we go. All right. This is Royce White posted this though, because this was back in 2024. Who says, Royce White goes, do I really have to post this again? Michelle, please don't run Trump Tafoya in 2023. Our nation's darkest hour, Tafoya's political intuition was to tell President Trump not to run again, that he would lose and cause chaos. Meanwhile, my campaign was driving a billboard around the state with his face on it. We don't need a thank you. There's just a difference between MIGA, M-I-G-I-A, and Ultra MAGA. It's almost laughable. So Royce positions him as a MAGA candidate. So here's the video he puts out regarding Michelle Tafoya. This will be interesting because if you go to outstate Minnesota, and a lot of the Republicans in Minnesota are very, very pro-Trump, but there's a lot of Republicans in Minnesota who are very moderate, and there could be a tug of war here. Here's what she did.
Was making a special announcement. And all signs point to the obvious. He's announcing he's going to run for president in 2024. In the last week, however, a growing number of people once on his side are now saying maybe not this time. I spoke to two of those voices, in Michelle Tafoya and Amy Koch. Michelle Tafoya became a household name from the sideline, calling games, until early this year when she got off the sidelines and into politics. She had a brief stint with Republican Kendall Qualls' campaign for Minnesota governor, and then 5 days ago, she wrote an open letter to Donald Trump on her Substack account saying, please don't.
And you know what? I'm sad that Minnesota would not vote for a black man for governor. Can you see how they hold the black man down?
Don't run for president again.
I think people know that if Trump does throw his hat in the ring, as he's expected to do, that chaos is back. And we've had enough. I mean, people are exhausted.
Why is Tafoya going so far as to say,
What's up,
don't run, Trump?
There are so many things going on that people want some leadership without that kind of baggage, without that kind of tumult. I hear it a lot from people I know who voted for Trump.
All right, so you get the idea. He put out the whole video of this, and so he's, this is going to be an interesting battle in Minnesota for the Republican nomination for the U.S. Senate, and there's probably some other people throwing their hats in the ring too. We'll see what happens with that. So we'll see. All right, let's move on. Journalist clash. Oh, this is the stories that pop up on X as kind of lead stories. Journalists clash over, because of what people are talking about. Journalists clash over edits in high-profile interview. Nick Shirley, the 23-year-old YouTuber behind the fraud expose on Minnesota child care centers, praised by Trump and Vance, accused Andrew Callahan of Channel 5 of trimming their interview to omit concessions on Democratic cities and Somali fraud stats. Callahan responded with a video explaining standard edits for dead air, stammers, and off-topic chat while sharing text of Shirley's initial praise and offering raw footage for review. The exchange highlights trust challenges in YouTube journalism. Well, in journalism in general, people look. Journalists are going to edit things in a way that, they want people to see it, and so it's not unusual. But let's see here. So here, TrumpFile.org. J.D. Vance's favorite MAGA Mormon propagandist, Nick Shirley, accused Channel 5 News of cutting down their interview to make him look bad. So Channel 5 released the clips they cut out of the edited interview. It's worse. Look, let me just preface this by, let's see, where's the complaint? There's a full response to it. You can watch these yourself. I'm not going to do it. Nick Shirley's like, watch this. I sat down with a journalist who claims to be left-leaning. And what does he do? Edits a 2.5-hour long interview into 1 hour and cuts out any part where he looks bad. Journalism is only journalism when you show the full truth. When you post what will benefit yourself and party becomes propaganda. Okay, so that's his complaint. I'll let you watch these yourself because they're too long and I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. But hey, anytime you do an interview with somebody, it's going to get edited in the way they want it to be edited. So that seems to be a news story. By the way, I think I've already mentioned this. Nick Shirley's fine. Nice kid, and he makes videos and sees things. I don't think anyone would ever claim that he's a rocket scientist, the smartest guy in the world, but he does what he does. And if someone's saying, oh, everyone complains that he's dumb. Well, the dumb kid took down a governor. So regardless of whether you think he's smart or not, some of the cuts did look pretty bad. I'm going to watch it later. I haven't even watched the whole thing, but we'll see. But he still drew attention to something that has the Democratic Party reeling and probably want him out there protesting ICE more so we don't get more attention back on the fraud in Minnesota. And I don't think Governor Walz is out of the woods yet as far as that goes either, but it sure gives him something else to talk about now. Also, what happened here? The family, remember we had that family that I said it looked like they had driven into a protest and they had 6 kids in the car, and one of the tear gas cannons went under their car, and one of their youngest, the baby, almost died. All the kids are alive. Well, now there's a little update to their story that changes things a little bit. Here it is. Video challenges Jackson's tear gas story in Minneapolis riots. Remember, they said they were coming back from a basketball game. They just were stuck in traffic. And I took them at their word. And honestly, even if that were the case, it was kind of an accident by ICE or whatever, that some of the tear gas got to the kids or whatever. Well, Sean and Destiny Jackson claimed they were innocent bystanders driving home from their son's basketball game when tear gas flooded their SUV on January 14th, hospitalizing their 6-month-old and 2 others. But new stills from a live stream show figures matching their descriptions amid protesters 45 minutes earlier. Away from any vehicle, the footage posted by Crime Watch Minneapolis has fueled accusations of leaving children unattended and exaggerating for fundraising. Though the family and authorities have not responded, their GoFundMe has raised over $171,000. So they got $171,000 to GoFundMe. So here's Crime Watch Minneapolis, which is basically they post things about crime in Minneapolis, obviously. Oh my fucking God, we're being lied to. Remember the sob story about the family with the baby getting tear gassed at the North Minneapolis riot last Wednesday, January 14th? They said they were just passing through the area on the way home from their son's basketball game. No, here they are on video at the riot nearly 45 minutes before the flashbang struck their car. These still images are from some guy. I don't know if Jonathan Mason's a loser, but here's from Jonathan Mason's video that night at about 8:30 to 8:45 p.m. The tear gas call with the baby was dispatched at 9:22 p.m. They left their effing kids in the car at a riot, and the baby nearly died. So here's the still photos of the parents. These are the pictures of them that they're wearing the same clothes. What up, Urgachan? Okay. Oh, shoot. that Simon Wilkins? I'm not sure who that is. I think it is. I mostly still up because I was finishing Ranting Monkey stream criticizing Starfleet Academy, and just because the songs I put in my music player will just loop for infinity if I don't skip them. Well, welcome back. How you doing? And also Anon 1, 2, 3. So here they are, pictures of them at the protest. I'll just call it a protest. It may have been a riot at some point. It turned into a riot, and they started throwing tear gas out there. But here, let's see. There's the dispatch. Oh, I don't want to hear that. Turn that off.
Wednesday night, as chemical gas, flashbangs, and fireworks were exchanged.
We were leaving South Minneapolis from our son's basketball game at Anderson Middle School.
They must have had to get their story straight. Is this the same couple?
Chemical gas.
We were leaving.
Okay, there they are. Hang on a second. So that's them. Are these the same people?
Engine 4-3.
Huh. That looks like a match. Look at those faces. And they pulled this off a live stream.
On for now.
Wednesday night.
And
as chemical gas, flashbangs, and fireworks were exchanged.
We were leaving South Minneapolis from our son's basketball game.
That's definitely him. And that looks like her too, doesn't it? Hello, Aaron Meredith too.
Anderson Middle School.
As the night unfolded,
we started to see,
Oh, you know what the other thing is too? So they said they were coming from their son's basketball game at Anderson Middle School. That's fascinating because the call was at 9:22 at night. And in Minnesota, middle school basketball games are played usually right after school. They don't have evening basketball games in middle schools in Minnesota. And that's per, like the Minnesota Athletic League. Only high school games are played at night. So either he was playing he might have, let's see, during the school year, they don't even, usually, like MYS is the Minnesota Youth Athletic Services has off-season, games they can go to. I'm curious. That's possible there was a game that had nothing to do with the school. But anyway.
Light stuff.
One North Minneapolis family trying to make their way home.
Even trying to leave, I couldn't go backwards.
Chicago Mike. Thank you for the 5 spot on YouTube Super Chats. Chicago Mike, welcome, sir. Says, hi all. I just sneezed and Rashad Ritchie received 3 more degrees. If you haven't heard about the Rashad Ritchie fake degree story, go to Nate the Lawyer's YouTube channel, and he's got about 3 or 4 videos on it now. Rashad Ritchie from TYT, the Young Turks. A lot of the degrees he says he has are all fake. It's hilarious. Thank you, Chicago Mike. Appreciate it, brother. So this was their story again.
It was like I was stuck.
Destiny and Sean Jackson, along with their 6 kids, had just left a nearby grocery store after the game when they turned onto Lindale.
Oh, they left the nearby grocery store after the game and then turned on to here.
Sean says they tried to take a side street after they saw the crowds.
There's nothing we can do if it's blocked off.
But you were there for 45 minutes at least before this happened? Huh.
Sean and Destiny say they were stuck between crowds of protesters and law enforcement. When law enforcement tried to disperse the crowd,
all we heard was boom, and every airbag deployed.
They say a flashbang went off near their car as tear gas enveloped them.
And I was screaming to my oldest son, Sean. I'm like, get out. Like, I can't, Mom, and I can't breathe.
Okay, we don't know if they were actually in the car or not when it happened. But it's interesting. They might have been trying to leave then. But it wasn't like they were just, we just accidentally came upon this. At least if you go by the video that apparently someone took. Let's see. Here, let's scroll down. By the way, thank you, Avocados Diablo, dropping a small bullet in the tip jar. 223 saying, but thank you very much, by the way. Says, look at the image from the riot again. Does that woman have lip piercings like the one in the interview? Oh, good question. Let's see if you can see. Let's see if we can see that. Yeah, there they are. They circled them because they did. So that's definitely them. They were at the protest. Let's look here. Now, these Crime Watch says these lying losers, Destiny and Sean Jackson, have raised almost $200,000 after leaving their infant to nearly die along with their other 5 kids while they stood around at a riot. So, yep, and there's the clothes. He's wearing the same clothes. Okay. What is this? This is probably showing the GoFundMe, support the Jackson family after ICE incident. Interesting. Okay. Now let's scroll down if there's more on here than this. And then here, hello, my name is Destiny. Myself and my husband Sean and their 6 kids were the latest ICE victims. They were innocent bystanders driving through what should have been a peaceful protest. When things took a turn, ICE began to start throwing tear gas bombs everywhere. We were trying so hard to get out of the way, but didn't want to harm anybody with our car in the process. One of the bombs rolled under our truck, and within seconds, our truck lifted up off the ground and the airbags deployed. Well, I don't know if it didn't lift off the ground. Because why would first of all, a flashbang? Would it lift the truck off the ground? Maybe. Who knows? Anyway, so yeah, that's their story. Let's see if there's anything else they have to say about this. Here's a snippet of her just chilling with others. No panic to get out, even as feds started moving in. Based on the timestamps in the video, this would be about 8:35 p.m., fully 45 minutes before the 911 call. So let's see if we can spot her in this video. That's a different person. Here we go. Watch carefully. And we'll yell stop when we see her. There she is. She's right there. She's just chilling. She's just chilling. Goodness gracious. Is she dancing? There's no sound. She's dancing. Okay, so where are the kids right then? This is 45 minutes forward. Good morning, Selected Boy.
Yeah, boy.
Where is she? Where are her kids and husband then? Where are they? Let's see if we can scroll down. Is there a video of them at the protest? Something's got to be posted somewhere. Yes, that's where the screenshots came from. So interesting. Look, I don't care that they have a GoFundMe. It's not necessarily, regardless, yes, their kids got tear gas. They're going to have some medical bills and stuff. But, oh my. The fact that they, kind of embellished on the story a little bit. Now, they may well have been coming back for their son's basketball game. They very may well have, then again, if it was a middle school basketball game, then I would have to say, no. Anyway, thank you, Avocados Diabli. Another small bullet in the tip jar who says, yeah, that is her. Look at the back of her hoodie. Her name is on it. Oh, I didn't even see that. That's funny. And thank you, Chicago Mike, putting a deuce in the tip jar. We'll clean that up later. Did I say received? I meant bought. Oh, yeah, you said received. Oh, in reference to Rashad Ritchie's degrees. Instead of he received 3 more degrees, he bought 3 more degrees. Yes, thank you very much. Perfect. Thank you guys for sponsoring the show. Fan-fucking-tastic. All right, next, the other one that, okay, that's the, oh wait, I'm doing how did I get the video on there twice? I do not, well, let's get rid of that. Oh, I see. I don't need him in there twice. Do I have it twice? Royce White, Michelle Tafoya, for challenges, and we'll, what's this? That's Crime Watch. Michelle Tafoya, Royce White. that. And we already talked about Nick Shirley. All right, enough of that. Davos is happening, and the World Economic Forum in Davos, their yearly event, and there's been some interesting speeches there. I'd love to talk about it, but I want to get on a different subject here. So let's just, that's also trending, but also what Trump has said at Davos. Now, this depends on who you ask. Some people are high praise of Donald Trump and his World Economic Forum speeches, and some people are panning it because this is a Rorschach. Anything time Trump talks, it's a Rorschach test. You'll have to figure that one out yourself. I'm going to skip it. And thank you, Avocados Daily, another small pull at the tip jar, saying, yeah, that the back of that hoodie said Ms. Destiny on it. Well, there you go. Then so clearly they were at the protest for a little longer than she claimed. She was out there chilling and decided instead of getting her kids the hell out of there. So, but you know, you just never know what happens. Okay, let's do. I want to hear a little bit of Trump's speech and Howard Lutnick at the World Economic Forum. Let's see. Let's hear. Holy crap! Scott Bassett just pummeled Gavin Newsom in Davos. He's here this week with his billionaire sugar daddy, Alex Soros. Oh shit! Wait a minute. This is good. I just have to laugh if that's what he said.
I think it's very, very ironic that Governor Newsom, who strikes me as Patrick Bateman meets Sparkle Beach Ken, may be the only Californian who knows less about economics than Kamala Harris. He's here this week with his billionaire sugar daddy, Alex Soros, and Davos is a perfect place for a man who, when everyone else is on lockdown.
Now, this is not they're in Davos, but this particular thing he's speaking at is not the World Economic Forum. They have little side events, and he's at one of the side events saying all this, but still, snap.
He was having people arrested for going to church. He was having $1,000 a night meals at the French Laundry, and I'm sure the California people won't forget that. And I can tell my message to Governor Newsom is the Trump administration is coming to California. We are going to crack down on waste, fraud, and abuse. And I was told he was asked to give a speech on his signature policies, but he's not speaking because what have his economic policies brought? Outward migration from California, a gigantic budget deficit, the largest homeless population in America, and the poor folks in the Palisades who had their homes burned down. He is here hobnobbing with the global elite while his California citizens are still homeless. Shame on him. He is too smug, too self-absorbed, and too economically illiterate to know anything.
Gotcha, bitch.
Thank you very much. Let me know if you need any further clarification.
All right. Oh, okay. So there you go. Also, let's see. We got enough of Scott Bassett.
I think it's
let's see what Howard Lutnick had to say. He's got 2 minutes here.
And myself, we are here. Okay. We are in Davos at the World Economic Forum. And the Trump administration and myself, we are here to make a very clear point. Globalization has failed the West and the United States of America. It's a failed policy. It is what the WEF has stood for, which is export, offshore, far shore, find the cheapest labor in the world, and the world is a better place for it. The fact is, it has left America behind. It has left the American workers behind. And what we are here to say is that America First is a different model, one that we encourage other countries to consider, which is that our...
Yeah, let's have the other countries go America First, too. I'm just kidding.
Our workers come first. We can have policies that impact our workers. Sovereignty is your borders. You're entitled to have borders. You shouldn't offshore your medicine. You shouldn't offshore your semiconductors. You shouldn't offshore your entire industrial base and have it be hollowed out beneath you. You should not be dependent for that which is fundamental to your sovereignty on any other nation. And if you're going to be dependent on someone, it darn well better be your best allies. Okay? And so that is it.
I mean, think about it. We're in a little spat with Denmark right now, and if we can't, Denmark produces 100% of our Ozempic. So, gosh, all these fat people are going to be fucked if we don't. Okay, never mind.
Different way of thinking. It is completely different than the WEF. I viewed the WEF as not a flagpole in the middle, but in fact, they are the flag. Whichever way the wind blew, so it blew. You should have solar, you should have wind. Why are you going to do solar and wind? Why would Europe agree to be net zero in 2030 when they don't make a battery? They don't make a battery. So if they go 2030, they are deciding to be subservient to China, who makes the batteries.
Look, whenever you think of Howard Lucknick Midnight, he made sense right there. So there you go. All right. But let's see what Trump said that everyone's bitching about. Now, this is one who doesn't like Trump and what he says. Wait a minute. Watching Trump kick the WEF to death might be the highlight of 2026. He nails it here. 45 seconds of Donald Trump at the World Economic Forum.
To embrace the possibilities of tomorrow, we must reject the perennial prophets of doom and their predictions of the apocalypse. They are the heirs of yesterday's foolish fortune tellers, and I have them, and you have them, and we all have them. And they want to see us do badly, but we don't let that happen. They predicted an overpopulation crisis in the 1960s, mass starvation in the 70s, and an end of oil in the 1990s. These alarmists always demand the same thing: absolute power to dominate, transform, and control every aspect of our lives. We will never let radical socialists destroy our economy, wreck our country.
Yeah, except we voted for one in New York.
Or eradicate our liberty. America will always be the proud, strong, and unyielding bastion of freedom. To embrace.
All right. So that's one person who likes him. Let me find one person who doesn't like him that posted something here. Oh, just spotted Gavin Newsom here watching Trump speak at Davos. Looks uncomfortable. Looks like he just spotted a T-Rex. Let's see. I cannot find. Well, I'm going to skip it. Let's just. Well, the World Economic Forum is going on now. Also, Finland president. The president of Finland said something interesting. Europe can defend itself without the U.S. During a World Economic Forum panel, Stubbs said Europe can unequivocally defend itself without American support, highlighting Finland's universal conscription, 280,000 mobilizable troops, vast reserves, F-35 fighters. Where do you get those F-35s from? Hello, what up, Geograph? And special canned acid. And massive artillery in a population of 5.6 million. He called Russia's Ukraine war a strategic failure for Putin amid Europe's surge in NATO spending. 23 of 32 allies now hit 2% GDP because we kind of pressured them into doing that. And Finland's 2023 alliance entry doubling the Russian border. Reactions divide online, with some Americans cheering a NATO exit while supporters praised Europe's growing self-reliance, though experts note U.S. dominance in alliance capabilities. Yeah, look, if all of Europe got together, yeah, sure, they could defend themselves, I suppose. And look, that's great. And then we would be partners if there was a balance between the EU and the United States as far as that goes. What does he say here? Let's see if this is where he said.
Look, what has Russia achieved in the past 4 years? It's
Russia's
acquired 20% of the territory of Ukraine through military warfare, roughly 2%. In the process of doing that, it has provided about 1 million casualties and dead. It has decreased its sphere of influence. You can see the Central Asian countries, you can see the Southern Caucasus detaching themselves from the Russian Empire. You look at the Russian economy right now. If we go with the inflation rates of the 2 first weeks, we're looking at 30% inflation this year, 16% interest rates, zero growth, no more reserves, incapacity to pay the soldiers when the war ends. So I'm more worried about Russia's unwillingness to end this war because they cannot afford to do so than about Russia's capability to win this war because not end this war because they're moving ahead. So let's keep things into perspective. NATO hasn't entered the scene yet, and they have not been able to advance in the past 4 years as much as expected. This war has been
they did have a lot of help from NATO, but you know, your community guidelines are perfect. I can't remember what they are. Thanks for asking, though. Hello, Jack. Jack Slaw, welcome to the show and welcome here. Hit the subscribe button if you like it. Let's go. Here, let's see here.
Utter strategic failure of President Putin. He increased the size of NATO. He made Ukraine European. He increased the defense budgets of European states. And here we are asking ourselves, shaking, are we able to defend ourselves? My answer is yes, we are.
Great. I highly recommend you do that. And do we have to, maybe we can balance out NATO now a little more. And now that y'all are, growing your budgets for that, maybe we can lower ours and use our money for something else. All right, let's fly through some of this. Iceland's also trending just because of this whole Greenland thing. A lot of people are no, Trump's not going for Iceland now. But here, this is what I want to show you. People mocking the idea of the U.S. buying Greenland don't know history. 1867, Andrew Johnson explored buying Greenland and Iceland right after Alaska. World War II, FDR, U.S. took over Greenland's defense while Denmark was occupied. 1946, Truman offered $100 million in gold to buy it. Cold War, Eisenhower, Kennedy, nonstop negotiation for bases, radar, and missiles. Post-Cold War, Clinton, Bush, Obama expanded Arctic security and missile defense. 2019, Trump said publicly what presidents discussed privately for 150 years. The U.S. didn't suddenly want to buy Greenland. It's been defending it, negotiating it, and embedding there since the 1800s. Greenland equals Arctic power, shipping lanes, missiles, minerals. Trump didn't invent it. He said the quiet part out loud. So I saw a video, someone saying, well, Greenland's not about shipping lanes because if you did a middle passage shipping lane, well, you'd be stuck in Arctic ice. Hey, TC, hold up. TC, I had to show you this. Today is National Squirrel Appreciation Day. Just for you, sir. Just for you. Get a special bell. All kinds of stuff. There you go. Happy National Squirrel Appreciation Day. I just had to come back to that. All right, where was I? We were talking about Finland or Iceland, why Iceland was trending. Mainly more Greenland. So anyway, saying, the shipping lanes, one's over the Bering Sea and one's through the middle. There's a different pass. What is it called? The Bering Strait. And if you did a middle passage, well, that would mean that you wouldn't be able to get through there because there's still Arctic ice there, which I thought it all melted. But anyway, the point was, if it's not about, it's about protecting both those shipping lanes, though, and also it's about the strategic, military strategic positioning of protecting that passage from northern Russia to the Western Hemisphere. So anyway, but yeah, it's the whole thing with wanting to buy Greenland is not new. All right, I'm going to skip through a couple other things here. I have a lot of things open. Oh, this is great. Listen to these just little tidbits here. So on this, on the protests in Minnesota right now, as I was scrolling down here, I noticed this bit of news. So Minnesota has a new has a new sick and safe time law, and it has and also a family leave law. So these people who are organizing this protest this coming Friday, where they're supposed to have a giant general strike in Minnesota, which is only going to happen in Minneapolis probably. What's interesting, no one in my union at UPS, no one's even mentioned this yet. We haven't heard shit about it. But the Twin Cities socialists tell people to use Minnesota's earned sick and safe time law so they can participate in an anti-ICE strike. Here's a video about it. Here's a video that they're telling people to do. This is this is classic. And you know, this is not what this is for. So it'll be interesting to see if, well, our state won't do anything about it, but anyway.
This is the beginning of something powerful. Withholding our labor power is how we stop the flow of profits. It's the only thing that will force the capitalists to respond.
You know, it's funny. I don't know what they think they're going to accomplish with a one-day strike. How they're going to accomplish getting ICE out of here, but.
Join us on Sunday, January 18th at the Minneapolis Central Library inside the Paula Hall at 2 p.m. We'll be discussing more of what we can do to win. The working class has immense power. We just need to use it. Join us to help build for January 23rd, the fight for a general strike.
So anyway, they're telling people to use their sick and save time. Minnesota is a very employee-friendly earned sick and save time law. If you are out for only one day, you do not have to provide documentation of the reason for your absence to your employer. Take a mental health day with ESST so you can go protest ICE. It's just crazy. Anyway, let's see. I'll skip that. Oh, that's just a general home. Oh, by the way, thank you, Reaction Puerto Rico. Who says they are planning a 90-day strike? Oh, are they? I haven't heard that. I've heard just Friday the 23rd. Interesting. Interesting if true. Thank you, Reaction on Puerto Rico. There's also an article here on the Arctic smoke screen. The most dangerous mistake about Greenland is believing it's about Greenland. And this article gets a little bit in the weeds. So again, I don't want to get too deep in that because I want to talk about other stuff. But it's an interesting article I think you should read. All right, here we go. We're going to just go down the line of the things I have open here, different things, and a couple things that kind of piss me off about what ICE is doing in the Twin Cities. Because not all of it makes sense to me, and I think it's causing an uproar for not a really good reason. You're distracting from the other problems in Minnesota by the way they're doing some of these things. I am fully in support of their mission as far as finding people who've entered our country illegally and rectifying that problem. The problem is they're doing things that I don't want the government doing if the other side gets in power. So they shouldn't be doing it when our side's in power. And you know what I'm saying? We don't want to give them ideas of what they can do because they can start doing shit this is a free speech check. Anyway, let's see. Let's get a couple of these though. Now she's looking at a video that says ICE agents refused to look at her ID before detaining her. And she's screaming, "I'm a U.S. citizen."
She was in the car with her boyfriend who was here illegally. They were stopped. She refused to comply with ICE officers or give any identification. She was briefly detained, and then once she gave identification and they were able to confirm who she was, they released her immediately. Next.
This morning, a GMA exclusive, the 19-year-old college student detained by...
Oh my God, a 19-year-old college student.
ICE while trying to visit her family for Thanksgiving, then deported against a judge's order, now speaking out.
It's been hard.
She's had an active deportation order against her since 2015. She has evaded law enforcement by ignoring appeals processes, and DHS emphasized that she received full and due process back then, but chose to stay undocumented. Next.
ICE agents held their 5-year-old daughter.
Oh, this one's complete bullshit. But remember this report? The ICE agents held her daughter
outside their home to get her father to surrender.
Her dad was in the country illegally and had charges against him like strangulation and domestic abuse. He was evading officers, went to go run and hide in the woods, and left his daughter, totally abandoned her. ICE officer.
He ran and left her daughter there. So what are they going to do? Daughter, go take dad's car and get the fuck out of here. Nah, they just stuck with her while they tried to go get her dad.
There's just wanted to make sure that she was okay and safe as she was an abandoned child. We cannot hate the mainstream media enough. I am not being dramatic when I tell you that every single story like this that you see that the news reports on, there's always more to the story. They will headline something. They will try to push a narrative that is objectively false. That is omitting key pieces of information for the public to know. 10 out of 10 times, without fail, every single anti-ICE video that you see, anti-ICE story that you see is omitting key details. They are.
Oh, you mean like the parents that were at the protest for a while before this trouble started and they left their kids in the car? Hello, unacceptable views, my other favorite Canadian.
Are not telling you the truth. They're trying to push a narrative to spread fear because the Democrats have to have these votes in order to win. It's their voter base. ICE is doing an incredible job. They're making our country safer. They're ensuring better quality lives for all citizens. They're protecting American citizens first. That's what a country should do. That's what officers should do.
Yes and no. They're doing the job that we need them to do, but in some instances, there's some things happening that they probably shouldn't be doing, and are just stupid as far as optics, even. Okay, so that's the end of her video. We're gonna move on. Let's see. This is. Oh, wait a minute. What the hell? Oh, I see. Okay, I can skip that. Oh, now speaking of which, though, we know that there's a change in how a certain political party has decided to, present this fight. And this is just a reminder of what Democrats used to do. And this is the great Barbara Jordan. I think she was the first Black woman in Congress back in the 70s. And this is good ones.
Talked about how the Democrats opened the borders in 1965, but the real betrayal happened in 1994, because that's the year a Black woman tried to warn them, and they silenced her. Her name was Bob.
But yeah, like the ICE stories, though, some of them are, let's just say a lot of the ICE stories, as Lord Stanhope says, obviously are very slanted when it comes to the media. And some of these stories sound fabricated, but some are not. We'll get to it.
Barbara Jordan, a civil rights icon and the first Southern Black woman elected to the House of Representatives. She wasn't a Republican. She was a Democrat royalty. President Bill Clinton appointed her to lead the U.S. Commission on Immigration Reform. Her job was to look at the data and answer one question: is immigration good for the average American worker? The Democrats expected her to say yes, but Barbara was honest. She looked at the numbers and she saw the truth. She released a report that shocked Washington. She concluded that low-skilled immigration was directly hurting the most vulnerable Americans, specifically Black men without college degrees. She said, immigration policy must put the interests of the American worker first. She recommended cutting legal immigration by 1/3 and cracking down on illegal labor to protect Black wages. So, what did the Democrats do? Did they listen to this Black woman that they appointed? No. Barbara Jordan died in 1996. And the moment she was gone, Bill Clinton buried her report. Instead of cutting immigration, they expanded it. They chose cheap labor over Black livelihood. She gave them the blueprint to save the Black middle class, and they threw it in the trash.
Now, obviously, this is somewhat geared for Black people, right? But here's the thing. I remember when I was a kid, my parents were, I've told the story before, but I'm going to tell it again. When my parents were building their house in West Omaha, they were building a new house, right? And we would go visit the site just to see how it's coming along. How, you know, hey, let's go see how the house is coming along, right? And I remember we were there, and they were putting the roof on the house, or roof, depending on which part of the country you're in. And the whole roofing crew was black men. Like the roofing contractor and all his crew were black men. There's, 5 or 6 guys up there, all of them black. And a couple other times we went there was, it was varied crews of different whatever, but that roofing company was all black men, right? And I compare that to when we recently had our roof put on. And I don't know how I can't assume the legal status, but everyone in the roofing crew that put the roof on my house in 2014 were all Hispanic, and none of them only one person spoke English, which, you know what? I'm not knocking that. I'm knocking the fact that, is that because, and I don't know what the legal status of them were, but it's just totally different. And maybe could be because I'm in Minnesota, not in Omaha, although Omaha didn't have a huge black population at the time. So I'm noticing patterns again. So anyway, so it's just an observation. It's an anecdote, but even the crew that's working on UPS right now, we're doing a complete renovation of the inside of the building, and part of that crew is all from Ecuador, which is fine. They're here legally. This is a big construction company that couldn't get away with not hiring illegal aliens. But what would have happened had there been if there's a lot more America, because we've encouraged all of our kids in America to go to college and take these other jobs and not using your hand jobs, right? Wow, that was a weird thing to say. And so all the construction laborers used to be all white guys and black guys. Now it's all immigrants. So it's like, does that help? Is that good or bad? I don't know. I can't decide. But Barbara Jordan may have had a point at the time. All right. Also, here's a good post on how I mentioned how Minnesota, and particularly Minneapolis, being a sanctuary city and not cooperating with ICE versus another city that does cooperate with ICE, and what's the difference? So this guy wrote, 2 cities, same federal agency, 2 totally different levels of sanity. In Memphis, the mayor, who is a Democrat, looked at the political circus, looked at the crime stats, and basically said, if ICE is coming anyway, I want them chasing killers and gangbangers, not doing drive-by paperwork checks. The idea is straightforward, grown-up thinking. Plug ICE into multi-agency task force, point them at the worst violent offenders, and when someone dangerous is already sitting in jail, hand them over there, disarmed, controlled, surrounded by bars and cameras, quiet custody transfers, maximum bad guys removed, minimum drama. Just the opposite in Minnesota. Now spin the globe to Minneapolis, where the official line is closer to get the fuck out. The city has wrapped itself in separation rules, no participation in immigration enforcement, no using city lots and ramps, no staging on municipal property. This forced the feds to respond by sending in small army of agents. Suddenly, ICE isn't arresting child rapists in jails. They're knocking on doors, getting blocked by cars, and grabbing targets in parking lots and neighborhoods. That's the key difference. You either let ICE arrest predators inside secure facilities, or you force them into the streets. Minnesota has forced them into the streets. Remember who many of these targets are. In the Houston area, in just 6 months, ICE picked up more than 200 illegal aliens who had sexually abused children. Not a theory, not slogans, actual child rapists in handcuffs. To get numbers like that, you need coordination. Jail notifications, controlled pickups, federal local task force, all rowing roughly in the same direction. Minneapolis has chosen the opposite. By walling off cooperation and banning ICE from city property, they haven't abolished enforcement, they've just exported it into neighborhoods. That means every operation is more volatile, every arrest is closer to your kids, your grocery store, your bus stop. It also means that when jails don't smoothly transfer custody, those same predators have more chances to walk free before ICE catches up, or doesn't. So the question practically asks itself, is if ICE is in town to put handcuffs on child rapists, what do you actually accomplish by tripping them, blinding them, and shoving them out into the street? Wake up, folks. You don't protect immigrants that way. You protect predators. And you guarantee that the cost of your sanctuary city will be paid sooner or later. But somebody's child is getting violated. So, I thought that was very poignant. And in fact, let's repost that. I'll just repost it right now. All right. I'm going to go through these last ones. Now, this is, I've noticed that there's a lot of real estate agents kind of putting their nose into this. This is someone who's running to be my congressman. And, but her point, I questioned her point at first, but I want to show you this first, and then I'll do a follow-up with another one who says something like this. She's annoying as hell, though. Like, so she's just out there blowing her whistle, which is, someone suggested I do that.
Out in the community, being patrollers and observers, just had an interaction with ICE, pulled up alongside my vehicle, rolled down his window with his face mask on, waved at me, and then did this, I see you.
Why? Because she's out there following them around, blowing her whistle. Not just out of random, right?
They like to play games. We're moving on to check out some other vulnerable community spaces. This is what we can do. Got my whistle. These are what our days look like, friends.
Great. You're okay. Now her name's Kayla Berg. She's the local real estate agent, and she's running for Congress. So this is her. That's her flex to run for Congress. Oh, I want to go to whatever town hall meeting is that she has and ask questions. But the reason that she's doing that is she's claiming, and there's a couple people claiming this, and the one I wanted to show you before is not here, but this is one. This is the one that bothered me, though. This one really bothers me. So listen to this.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Mark Ruley, Police Chief of the City of Brooklyn Park. Behind me is a bunch of amazing police chiefs that are here in support of a very short but very important message that we want to share with you. What you won't hear from any of us today is rhetoric of abolish ICE,
which is good.
There shouldn't be immigration enforcement. The truth is, immigration enforcement is necessary for our national security and for local security. But how it's done is extremely important. And
again, think about what I read just a minute ago. If local law enforcement were allowed to cooperate with ICE and worry about the bad guys, they wouldn't be doing random shit. But it doesn't excuse what you're about to listen to.
In fact, we have a long history of working exceptionally well with our federal partners, including ICE agents, and we have seen the best of them perform their job extremely well in the past. With that said, recently, as the last 2 weeks, we, as law enforcement community, have been receiving endless complaints about civil rights violations in our streets from U.S. citizens. What we're hearing is they're being stopped in traffic stops or on the street with no cause and being forced to demand paperwork to determine if they are here legally.
I don't like the idea of the random stops at all. And it's the legality of it is extremely dubious. And someone's claimed that they were doing that in a suburb near me too. And which I haven't seen that. Okay. They say, oh, there's snatching people out of cars and there's abandoned cars on the roads. If you see an abandoned car on the road, check it because there might be a kid in there, whatever. Well, we're getting there to that, Avocados Diabli. We're getting there. We're getting there.
This went on over the past 2 weeks. We started hearing from our police officers the same complaints as they fell victim to this while off duty. Every one of these individuals is a person of color who has had this happen to them.
Some of their off-duty police officers have gone through it too.
In Brooklyn Park, one particular officer that shared her story with me was stopped as she passed ICE going down the roadway. When they boxed her in, they demanded her paperwork, of which she's a U.S. citizen and clearly would not have any paperwork. When she became concerned about the rhetoric and the way she was being treated, she pulled out her phone. In an attempt to record the incident, the phone was knocked out of her hands, prevented her from recording it. The officer had their guns drawn during this interaction. And after the officer became so concerned, they were forced to identify themselves as a Brooklyn Park police officer in hopes of slowing the incident and de-escalating the incident down. The agents then immediately left after hearing this, making no other comments, no other apologies, just got in their vehicles and left. I wish I could tell you that this was an isolated incident. In fact, many of the chiefs standing behind me have similar incidents with their off-duty officers. This isn't just important because it happened to off-duty police officers, but what it did do is we know that our officers know what the Constitution is, they know what right and wrong is, and they know when people are being targeted, and that's what they were. If it is happening to our officers, it pains me to think of how many of our community members are falling victim to this every day. It has to stop.
Now, I know some of you are doubting it, giving me an extra doubt. This is not an isolated report. And half of them, sometimes when you see people like being interviewed or whatever, I go, there's something about the way you're telling this story that sounds like bullshit. But where is it? Here's a full 25 minutes of this. And it's kind of corroborated by a couple of the other chiefs of police. I don't have any reason to believe that the chiefs of police would make this up every time. Okay, so if that is happening, that's clearly wrong. And also the idea if they're just going randomly door to door, which I don't believe they're going randomly door to door either. But if they are, that's wrong too. Like, for example, we talked about they went to the one house where they had information that two people that they were looking for were at that house. And they found the old guy. They took him out in his underwear and his slippers in, it was about, I think it was like 10 below the degrees weather that day. Why do that? Why not allow the guy to at least get dressed for the weather? I mean, it's like you have two officers there. Put some clothes on. We're taking you with us until we figure out who you are. And then they finally figured out who he was. So, look, the optics are shooting yourself in the dick. Now you got people talking about, oh, they took this old man and he's in his underwear in freezing weather. Rather than the story being they had a warrant for that house and he matched the description and they let him go as soon as they figured out who he was. So the chiefs may not be lying, but the person telling them could be. Oh, they could be. But why even have a chance of a story like that? Especially if they pull over a police officer randomly. And look, how many of those police officers are going to have the exact same story? Now, I drive around this area all the time, and that realtor was saying there's another video of another gal putting this out. I don't have it bookmarked. Where she's saying, oh yeah, in Apple Valley, Minnesota, there's random ICE people all over the place. Well, look, I don't know how efficient it would be in Minnesota or in the Twin Cities metro, a metro area of 3.2 million people, for 2,000 cops to be randomly stopping people. If they are, it's a really dumb way to work. And so, and also, I think somebody in government leadership, and I don't know if it can be Tim Walz or Jacob Fry or Chris Coleman, the mayor, not Chris Coleman, I don't know the new mayor's name, whatever her name is. I don't know why they don't try to talk with the Trump administration and say, hey, look, we'll agree to cooperate when it comes to the worst criminals. I don't know why they wouldn't do that anyway. Would you rather have these worst criminals who commit heinous acts back out on your streets, or would you rather get rid of them which is the purpose of what ICE is doing? We wanted to go for the worst criminals first, right? Why not cooperate with that? Like they do in Memphis, like they do in other cities. No, Minnesota is doubling down on, we're a sanctuary city, so it doesn't matter. We're just going to let the criminal go free. It's stupidity from our local government and terrible optics from our national government. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it, and that's where we are right now. Real quick, thanks more people who, I got a bunch of more notifications here that I probably missed. Thanks. I'll just say thank them out loud. Reaction on Puerto Rico, thank you for reposting the show. TC, happy National Squirrel Day or Squirrel Appreciation Day, and so on and so forth. Let's see, worrying about the optics when your opponents don't really care about them and use your care of them against you is self-handicapping yourself, though. Yes, sort of. I think if they're doing random stops in towns, you're going to the accusation of you're just stopping brown and black people, which is a stupid claim anyway. But how about being more focused and going for the people that you're actually here for? That's all I'm saying. Yeah, so there you go. Yes, so stop fucking doing it. I'm not sure what you mean there. Palantir will fix it. All right. Anyway, I knew this stream was going to make people happy, but that's okay. I got all the links here. Let me get rid of these. I'm just here. Look, and plus I'm hearing all the local stories too, and there's tons of them. I don't even know which ones to believe. Oh, wait. Oh, I can't go yet. This is important. I almost forgot. By the way, Ketanji Brown Jackson defends Jim Crow law during a Second Amendment case hearing. This, we gotta go find that video. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But, Kristi Noem promised arrests in the next several hours over church stormed by anti-ICE activists. Oh, good Lord. Please, 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 please. That'll be awesome. Also, and these are articles that in the links, I don't have time to go through them too deep. Keith Ellison, our Attorney General and resident dickhead, says they're getting tender about the church service. None of us are immune from the voice of the public, Ellison said in an interview with Don Lemon. Don Lemon interviewed him, and Ellison's defending what those people did. We'll see how, and he claimed that the SAVE Act was only related to abortion access, except for the second clause of it is specifically for religious institutions or worship. But I don't think they wrote it for Christian worship. I think they wrote it specifically so people would not protest mosques. But the language of the law says religious institutions. What do you mean one day I'll get it? I get what you're saying. I have to live in Minnesota, that's all. And then finally, also the Justice Department is going to interrogate Tim Walz and 4 other top Minnesota Democrats about enforcement of immigration law. New York Times reported federal prosecutors issued subpoenas on Tuesday to at least 5 Democratic officials in Minnesota, ramping up the Justice Department's investigation into their response to the Trump administration's aggressive immigration crackdown in the state, according to 2 people, everyone's favorite source, familiar with the situation. The subpoena sought documents for Governor Tim Walz, Mayor Jacob Fry of Minneapolis, Mayor Kaoli Hare of St. Paul, although it would have been the prior mayor Moore, related to their policies on immigration enforcement efforts in the state. 2 Minnesota prosecutors, Keith Ellison and the State Attorney General and Mary Moriarty, the Hennepin County attorney, were also sent similar subpoenas. So they're not going to fuck around with this anymore. So that's a good thing. All right. Allow me to drop some links and get the hell out of here. Thanks everyone for coming. We'll be back for FTG Thursday, and I might just focus strictly on FTGs tomorrow because there's plenty of them to go around. All right. there we go. And where's the fucking thing? There we go. You know the thing.
You know the thing.
Here it is. All right, here's the links. You guys check these out. Links, bam, from the show. They'll be in the description too. I gotta go. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks. My name's Dawg Knight. I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.